this is going to be a follow-up video on two videos that we have already done earlier. One was on the external factors and the external factor evaluation, and the other was internal factors and the internal factors evaluation. So in this video, what we will be doing is we'll be looking at what is known as the internal external matrix, right? And this matrix is used as a tool to formulate your strategy. All right, so let's get started. What we'll do is we'll start with a 3x3 grid, and we will number the lines as 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the horizontal, and 1, 2, 3, 4 are also on the vertical axis or the y-axis. Now, on the horizontal axis or the x-axis, what we will do is we will put the internal factor evaluation. Now, internal factors are your strength and your weaknesses. All right, so they will range, your response would range from being weak to strong, and 1 would be a weak, 4 would be a strong, and 2 and 3 would be somewhere in the middle. All right, so that the x-axis is going to be covering your internal factor evaluation. Now we'll go ahead and look at the vertical or the y-axis. In the y-axis, what we will do is we will put the external factor evaluation. Now, if you remember from the video that we did on the external factor evaluation, the external factors are your opportunities and your threats, because those are something that's externally impacting you as an individual or impacting your organization. So that's an external, those are external factors, the opportunities and threats, and you will be reacting to those. You're showing a response to those, and we will put them as low, medium, and high. So 1 would be a low, 4 would be a high, and 2 and 3 would, the medium would be somewhere between 2 and 3. All right. So with that said, what we'll do is we'll number each box as 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got those boxes numbered, and then now what we'll do is we'll look at what these boxes actually mean, and if we happen to be in a particular box, what does that mean for us from the strategic planning standpoint. All right. So let's assume your internal factor evaluation is on the higher side, medium to higher side, and your external factor evaluation is medium to higher side. That would be your boxes 2, 3, and 6. They are labeled in green now. And if you do happen to be falling in those 3 boxes, the strategy that you would be looking at would be to grow and to build. All right, you want to expand. You want to have maybe buy a company or set up a new plant. So you'll be looking at growing a business. Now, supposing the where you end up is where you land is on the lower side. So medium to low for the internal factors and medium to low for the external factors. That would be the red area now that's covering box 4, 7, and 8. Now, if you were to land in that red shaded area, from a strategic planning point of view, what you might want to do is you want to harvest and divest. You might want to be thinking about getting out of this market, because if you think about it, let's look at box number 7. Your internal factor evaluation is weak, your external factor evaluation is low, so you're in a very weak position, a very poor position, both internally and externally. So maybe you want to get out of that market or that business. So that's what the red shaded area shows. Now, if you notice 1, 5, and 9 are still left open. So what does that mean? That would be The green was the build and you want to grow and you want to build. The red was you want to harvest and you divest, you want to get out. The yellow or the orangish oval shape in the middle, that's covering box 1, 5, and 9. What that would mean is you want to hold and maintain. So essentially what that means is from a strategic planning point of view, you are not, you probably would not be looking at, you know, expanding, and you also would not be looking at contracting. Okay, so you would not be reducing in size. Ideally, you don't need to be looking at that, and also you should not be looking at expanding. So you just want to hold your ground. Okay, and that's what it is. You hold and maintain. If you look at it logically, box number 1, your external factor valuation is high, your internal is low. Okay, but they kind of, you know, the high numbers that you are getting in the external is kind of compensating for a low internal, so that's you know, they kind of balance out. Similarly, box number 9, excuse me, your internal factors are high. Externally, you're in a weak position, but they kind of like balance each other out and they kind of, you know, complement each other. And 5 is, you know, you're not very strong internally or externally, but then you're also not very weak internally. So somewhere in the middle. So the boxes 1, 5, and 9 is where you want to just hold your ground, hold your position. And like I said before, the green, the 2, 3, and 6, you want to grow and build. For the 4, 7, and 8, you want to harvest and you might want to be looking at divesting. Okay. Now, if you remember from the previous video that we did on internal factor evaluation, we had looked at a company that was initially in software business and now was thinking of building and selling PC hardware. And so we had done a SWOT analysis and used that SWOT analysis to come up with your internal factor evaluation. And we had given weights and ratings and figured out the weighted score. So what we had figured out was the internal factor evaluation, the total weighted score was 2.566. Now I would urge you to go back and review that internal factor evaluation video, just in case if you want to have a review, or if you have not seen it. I would strongly urge that you go back, you do go and see that, because then it will make more sense. So anyway, internal factor evaluation, at the end of the day, what we've got, the overall score was 2.566. Okay, so if you remember, we have internal factor evaluation on the horizontal or the x-axis. So what we're going to do is the 2.566, we'll go ahead and plot that on the horizontal or the x-axis. So that would sit somewhere in between 2 and 3. This dotted line would show you which boxes it would you should probably be landing at the end of the day. Okay. Now the next step would be the external factor evaluation. Now there was another video that we did on external factors, and just like the internal factors, I would recommend that you do go and see it again if you had already seen it before, or if you had not seen that video. I would strongly urge you to go back and see to go and see that video, so because then this will make more sense. But this is the same example of a software house that's now going into building PC hardware, and we had done the SWOT analysis, and using the SWOT analysis we had built the internal factor evaluation and the external factor evaluations. This screen right now shows you the outcome of the external factor evaluation, and we had given weights to each of the external factors. I'm sorry, the heading is not right. It says key internal, should be key external factors. And the weighted score that we got was a 2.4. So we'll go ahead and plot that on the y-axis. All right, that would be again somewhere between 2 and 3, closer to the little more on the 2 side than on 3. So not exactly in the middle, but slightly lower. And the dotted line would show you where you probably will be landing. Uh, Now, if you see the intersection of those two dotted lines is box number 5. So what that means is, uh, as far as the internal external matrix is concerned, using your scores from your internal factor evaluation and the scores from your external factor evaluation, combining them together, and you're plotting them on this diagram, you are landing at 5, which is hold and maintain. So for the strategy that you want to come up with in that using that example, you want to hold and maintain. So basically what means is you've entered the market of building new PC hardware. You were initially only doing software. You've started doing hardware now. But hold and maintain, what in that case would mean is you don't want to be going all out and buying a bunch of companies, or buying a bunch of setting a bunch of factories. You want you want to take it slowly. You want to have a more excuse me, a more conservative approach. So that's essentially what internal external matrix does. It draws on the internal factor evaluation and the external factor evaluation, and then combines the weighted scores from both those matrices and comes up with a combined output, and gives you a pointer towards formulating a strategy for your company and or your organization, or for you as an individual. Now, in this case, like I said, the intersection between the X and the Y is box number 5, so that's in the yellow area, and that's like that's lying in the hold and maintain region. All right. That's it from the for this video. If you did like this video, please kindly give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Thank you.